Martina, who is looking after our workshops. Monica, secretary, you've met Christine at the door. They are the force power behind kind of putting these events together. We have Simon looking after our website, and one more Paul's looking after it after the liaison. So if you have jobs, send them with you. Anyone else here, guys? Okay, so we're about 10 people, and we're building this out of a big line. I think that the takeaway is that the slide coming up later. So you can read about the things that we do for the community. We try our best. Give us your feedback on how we can do better. You can become a member of the I think the takeaway I'm trying to here is you can help us if you want to. You can be part of this community by being here or by being on the committee. So we have elections every year, they're coming up. We're looking for a communications officer and we're looking for industry liaison. So if you are interested, come and talk to us. And if you don't want to be on the committee for 2 years and take a full role, we have also for introducing project leads. So you can look after a specific aspect of things that we do or a new one if you have an idea and we will support you. So our mission, if it hasn't been clear so far, support creative professionals, their professional development, and the professional development. Some more things. And I would like to ask you another question. Who in this room can say that they had a UX mentor in their profession? Okay. And who of you would say that at some part of their profession had somebody who had more experience in a specific aspect of UX and they helped them out? Right, there's about double or 3 times a month. I think that's a really part of the word mentor. So we have a mentorship program, and we need people to help us mentor other people. And I bet that half of us can help the other half of us if we don't get stuck up on the word mentor. So we have a new project lead who is going to help us next year hopefully reach further outside London and do more mentoring. The idea is that you subscribe, you have a profile, and you have an case for looking for a specific part or experience or guidance for a specific part of the UX, and you match it up and then you take it on. It's very rewarding. I recommend it. So we have events every month, as I've said. Next month, we have, of course, World Disability Day, and I think the December we just and we'll have the elections coming up, so register your newsletter, keep an eye on our website, and we'll also have our annual general meeting coming up in November. So if you want to get involved, come to us and wait. I want to try something else now. I need to pop your hand up. I like it, there are many rebels, many anarchists, don't follow the direction. And finally, put your hands together to thank our sponsor. How many people from this have arrived yet? Anyone here from this? Not yet. We're expecting a big crowd, but I think that's late. Now, the final thing I would like to mention is that UCC is coming up, and I know we saw it, this is the design conference. It's not there. It's coming up next Friday. About 1 Yeah, next week. So we're going to have a raffle tonight. We're funding one 2-day ticket to one of you guys. So if you haven't, please put your business card or your crypto to the jar that is part of the and at the end of the event, we will have the product. Now, I will bring you to the table of how to sign in the morning.
Thanks, Sir. So I just need to change the slides. But tonight we've got three great speakers. We're going to start off with Andrew Godfrey, and we're going to go to Adrian Howard and Michelle Harrison. And then after that we'll do some QA, and hopefully you guys can have some good questions. I'm just going to swap over the slides and then we'll start. Okay, can we put our hands together for Andrew Godfrey?
We've got a clicker. I don't know what to choose. It's either my beer or the clicker. I'll go for the clicker. So hello everybody. First up, hands up if you work at an agency. Or have worked at an agency. Yes, right, okay. So, tonight I'm going to talk to you about Lean UX, but from a very specific environment, and that's of the agency. Because actually, although it's been talked before, I've had personal experience recently about trying to introduce Lean UX principles into a project at an agency. And it's been quite interesting because although we can't get, I'd say, kind of a proper Lean UX approach, we can definitely kind of take advantage of those Lean UX principles that I'll go on to in a minute. There we go. So, I work at an agency called Foolproof. Anybody in the house with Foolproof tonight? Yes, we've got a few. All has worked at Foolproof. We've got a few. Yeah, so they're a big experience design agency, and I'm a senior experience designer there. But I didn't start there. They're actually my first proper design agency job. I started back in 2003 for a company called Connextra, which I worked kind of a full-on, fully fledged Agile XP team. And I tried to kind of introduce user-centered design within that team. So coming to Foolproof, it was quite a different environment for me. It was a little bit slower to get things changed from a design point of view. And it was just not having the full stack developer next to me in that environment was a bit alien to me. But it was really cool because I got to work with some awesome designers and researchers, something that I hadn't experienced before. And introducing Lean UX principles kind of got a bit messy at the agency on the project that we kind of tried. And really what I want to talk to you today is about the kind of challenges and the successes that I've had on that project at Foolproof, and how you can pretty much introduce Lean UX principles to, I think, any agency really, particularly with user experience elements involved. And that picture is of Colin, our project manager. So let's kind of cover some of those principles first. I don't want to dwell on them too much because actually there's only a few that I really want to concentrate on the talk tonight. And really there's kind of a theme there, the kind of collaboration across functional teams. You're welcome, guys. I've got that one out of the way for you. Yeah, so I think when introducing a new kind of approach to design, principles can really kind of help you ground that approach, and really you should be focusing on the principles rather than the process, because the process can change, I think, but the principles should remain the same, the things to aspire to, just like design principles, for example. Yeah, so there's kind of themes there that I want to talk to you about. We'll come back to those, and it's really kind of the team itself, kind of doing the work, and then this thing called running experiments. So you'll have heard of MVPs and things like that. And what I really want to kind of share with you today is how we've kind of adapted that into the agency environment, particularly on this project that I'll talk to you about. The range on this is, I don't know whether I'm getting the laser point. No. So let's start with the team. one thing was very apparent to me when I started running kind of Lean UX principles was this kind of fable that I reminded myself from the days of kind of Scrum and XP. And it's the kind of idea of the chicken and the pig. So if you're not familiar with it, imagine if a chicken and a pig opened a restaurant and only one of those would be committed, which is the pig, because they would have to be sacrificed for the bacon, and bacon is lovely. But the chicken would only have to lay the eggs for that restaurant. And although that's sometimes quite relevant to agile environments, in an agency and the team that we had, we found it really difficult to kind of nail down that 100% committed team to kind of really kind of facilitate this collaboration, the co-location, all these kind of principles that relate to the Lean UX approach to design. And yeah, we kind of found ways to cope with that. And one way was this kind of idea of co-location. How do we kind of get people more committed, working together in the same space? Because I remember back, I interned at a long time ago for a small time, at another agency in Waterloo, and there was a team working on the same project. It was user-centered design process, and the team was split on 2 floors of a big high-rise. So they had another intern that would run up and down with kind of sketches and wireframes and sitemaps and all these kind of other deliverables between the 2 teams to try and kind of bridge that communication gap, because that was quicker than uploading to a server or emailing to the rest of the team. So at this agency, Foolproof, what we kind of got is these ideas of war rooms. Now the war rooms are they're already in place, but this has really helped to kind of adopt on a larger scale the Lean UX principles. Because we get the developers in there, we get the designers, both visual and interaction, we get the researchers in there, and the project management as well. Even strategists or planners, experienced planners are in there. And although the core team, the pigs, are there more than the chickens, you do get that kind of facilitation going between the UX principles, such as collaboration and getting the kind of developers involved, for example. It's been a big success. And that's what I want to kind of move on to now, is this idea of developers and designers, right? So we recently kind of took on front-end development as part of the offering at Foolproof. And so far, on the project that I'm talking about, we've been using them as designers when there isn't anything to code. And that's been really useful, because actually they can feed their expertise into the designs a lot sooner. So if we think about what Lean is about, to kind of reduce the waste of what you produce, rather than the handles of kind of finishing off fully competent designs, getting them in to design with you allows you to kind of feed that expertise into the design sooner. And actually to make excellent designers, some of the best kind of designs we put together, particularly in the client-side environment, have been with developers kind of feeding directly in there. Now, one major difference I would say with an agency environment is the fact that you have clients, you don't necessarily have customers. The clients have customers, and the clients are our customers. Yeah, it's a bit of a mad situation. And at the beginning of the project, when we started to try and move quite fast and quite iteratively, it was quite difficult for the clients to kind of get their head around that process and to keep up almost, and kind of make sure that they get kind of insight into what we're doing, what we're producing, what direction we're taking. So the way we tackled that is that every Wednesday now, we bring the clients into the war room at Foolproof, and they design with us. So they're kind of subject matter experts. They've got all the kind of knowledge in their heads, and it would be kind of foolish for us to try and gain that amount of knowledge, and as much as we can try through research, but to bring them sooner into design, just like the developers, it's kind of really helped us to kind of get some of the problems out that we may face further down the road once we started to design. So you've got your team, you've got your kind of war room, you've got your co-located team. So that kind of proved a bit of a success. We kind of managed to commit